I was about to say, I was like, we're just diving into this. You're not going to introduce what? Okay, I'll introduce myself. I'm Amy Vorpahl, and yes, that's how you say my name. I say it's double stressed, like whirlpool, how you give both. It's Vorpahl, both are kind of stressed, if that makes sense. And who am I? Well, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I am really big on spending time with good people. And as far as my jobs, I'm all over the map. I'm definitely a creative, and I have been in the past an internet baby is what I guess I would call myself, where I just existed on so many different internet platforms that have all died. I would love to take responsibility for killing all of them, because wow, what a feat that would have been. But I don't think it was solely my fault. But places like Nerdist, Geek and Sundry, College Humor. I've even been on Critical Role, BuzzFeed. Some of those, BuzzFeed's still going, and definitely Critical Role is still going. But on top of that, if you're listening to this, you probably know me as an RPG queen. So my claim to fame this year has been contributing to an anthology of a hardcover D&D adventure book in which I wrote one of the adventures of Candlekeep Mysteries. And my adventure is called Candlekeep Deconstruction. But all of that's to say that I've also been and still am an actor and a writer in the entertainment industry, and still kind of going full throttle on that path as well.
Hallie, do you think I could have given an as impressive repertoire of your career as you just did? That's why I asked the question.
Totally. I know. I like, it's so weird. I hear so many podcasts where people are like being humble, like, oh, go ahead, introduce me. And I'm like, I actually love introducing myself. I was so proud of all of my achievements, and I love it. I love talking about myself, and yeah, for pride reasons. But also, I feel like a very impressive person. I really like myself.
Hell yeah, that's a beautiful thing to say, do you not think?
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like a lot of people can't say that. They can't say,
Yeah.
I like myself. I'm cool.
I,
Uh,
I do gratitude lists every day, and most of the days, like the first thing on my list is my brain, or my weird brain, or my creative brain, or my curious brain. But it's always like I am really grateful for the brain I've been given. So,
what are the three things you value most in life?
oh wow, my weird brain. I actually do value that a lot. It does make the gratitude list often, and people I love, specifically people I love, and then the. I mean, they're all, these are all just kind of ideas, but I do value what I call energy and attention. So the fact, I find it very powerful that one person can change whatever they want, and all they would have to do is give it energy and attention. So everyone has the superpower of energy and attention, and I love that because it actually is game changing. So yeah, I like me, I like the people I love, and I love the human superpower of energy and attention.
Fuck yeah, I've never heard of energy and attention as like a duality concept before.
Well, yeah, I guess it's come from like just practice of, in the last few years I've like tried to I've tried and achieved an up leveling my personal but career, like my life in specific ways, and it financial for one, my love life for another, and then my like acting career for another, and each one without fail was absolutely successful, and all I did was give it my energy and attention. um and I have the hindsight to like recognize that that's what they all had in common, I guess. But it's kind of like when people are like, wow, how did you, fill in the blank, lose weight, or you made that much money, how? And it's like, well, for weight, it's like diet and exercise, which is basically energy and attention. And then yeah, becoming an entrepreneur, making more money, it's like, how? Well, I focused, I guess, and got really clear on where where I wanted the money to come from, and then nurtured that. And that to me sounds like an energy and attention. You want to grow a plant, it needs energy and attention. You want to grow a relationship, like it's definitely not something I've read or anything. It's just something that in hindsight I'm like, I can do anything with energy and attention.
Like that's like really reassuring to me, because recently I've started for the first time in my life drawing, like drawing stuff. I've never been able to do it. It was always a skill that I was like, oh well, I didn't pick it up when I was like 11, so I guess I'm never going to be able to draw.
Totally.
And recently I've just been kind of heartened. I know people use disheartened, but I'm going to use heartened. I've been heartened by the idea that I can, if I just do it a lot, that I'll be good at it. Yeah. And so hearing that, if I just give drawing so energy and attention, I think that I can get somewhere with it. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is a superpower, and then you as a human get to decide where that goes. But if you're, but I guess consequently, if you do look at your life and you see some stuff that you don't want in it, and habits or what, like habits or like where your time is going, you can see where that came from. Like if you're participating in, I don't know what it would be, but just on your schedule, you look and you're like, wow, this week got 5 hours. I spent 5 hours on doing this weird, I don't know, thing. Like, what did I realized I had been spending about 5 hours reading other people's scripts throughout the week. And like, instead of writing or whatever. And like, I can look at that and be like, well, that's probably why I'm frustrated. Like, I'm not doing the thing that I wanted to do. I'm doing other people's things that they've asked me to do. And so the energy and attention was going to further other people's lives, which I'm totally down for. Favors are how the world works. But if it's imbalanced, that's where you can find some like frustration and maybe a little bit of resentment. So I was feeling resentment because of, just lack of awareness, but still energy and attention. Like, you're never doing nothing. Energy and attention is going somewhere. So if you figure out where you want to place it, super power, baby.
I'm just gonna write down 2 words: energy and attention, because I think
it's every human superpower. I'm so convinced of it.
Question 3 is: tell me a memory that shaped you.
Memory that shaped me. I just like this memory, so I'm gonna say this one. And then we can talk about how it may or may not have shaped me. But
cool.
I have a very vivid memory of when I was, and I might not have ever told this story on a podcast before. I don't even think my boyfriend knows this story, but ages ago, I have 3 sisters, one of whom is a twin. Another one is 1 year younger than me, and another one is 5 years younger than me. And the 5 year younger than me sister, Amanda, I was either a freshman in college or a senior in high school. And that meant I was 18 and she was 13. And I had to be in college. So I came back for Easter. I came home for Easter. And it was, that's a little bit too old as a 13-year-old to be believing in the Easter bunny. But the year before, she had done an Easter egg hunt. And I was convinced that as long as we were questioning if she still believed in the Easter bunny, she was getting a dang Easter egg hunt. Like, and my mom was like, no, I graduated from this. My youngest daughter is now 13. I don't have to do this anymore. And in fact, I'm not doing it. And I was like, really? So I got all the materials together and I was like, I'm going to do it, because I just don't know. Like, I don't know. And I'm not going to be the one to actively disrupt a fun belief. And whether or not she believes in it, it's just a fun belief. It's like Santa Claus, like at the end of the day, all the Easter bunny means is a fun treasure hunt and candy. So like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a fun event. It's a fun way to spend time. It's only joyful and delightful. So I became the Easter bunny that year. And I do remember my mom feeling like guilty that I kind of took this on it for myself, and she helped. She like, you know, threw her weight behind it as well, because she saw how hard I was working, and it was just, and I guess the memory is really cool, because the way I remember it happening is somewhere around that Easter egg hunt, Amanda did make it clear, like, no, she's not an insane person. Of course, she doesn't believe in the Easter Bunny, but and then when she made that known, I was able to tell her, like, okay, well, just so you know, Mom was gonna just like pull the rug out from under you and just not have an Easter Bunny. And I said, no, we're doing the Easter egg hunt. And she was like, that was absolutely the right choice, because the reason she didn't say if she believed in it or not is because she wanted the egg hunt. So like she was like actively, you know, being this coy little naive. and I was like, okay, so I honored what your weird manipulations were, and she was like, yes.
Well, like, yeah, that's just fun. Like, I would do an Easter egg hunt now if someone offered it to me.
Yes, that's the thing. Is like, so maybe that shaped me in the way where you're like, where just choose fun. If it's fun, choose it. That's it.
Yeah, and also you kind of did this thing where, okay, well, fuck you, I'm doing it myself. I mean, if you're not going to do it, yeah,
don't let other people tell you the way things are going to be.
Yeah, fuck them. In this case, I'm sure like your mom probably had like decent intentions, but also the Easter egg hunts are fun, and you've chosen the better option here.
Yes, I did choose the better option. And she was over it and tired of it until she wasn't. Until I reminded her that actually this is fun.
The joys of Easter. That's supposed to be the joys of Christmas. Whatever.
Yes.
Question 4 is a lot less serious than the other questions so far, which is, what's your favorite animal?
Okay, that is a really good question. I get, okay, to look at, it's a dragon. I think dragons are they have the best poses. Like they're kind of cat-like and majestic in their poses, but also like horses and snakes. So they just have cool shit going on, plus wings. So they're fun to look at, because you can draw them in any way that you want, or an artist could, and pose them in lots of different fun shapes. And I guess to have as a pet, if I were to have a pet, I guess it'd be a dog. But also, I don't know if that's true, because I've had a dog and it was a really bad experience. And I love dogs. My experience, I think they're delightful and almost human in nature. And I think they deserve everything. But I don't know that I would want to, I don't know that I'm made to take care of a dog.
Tell me in as much detail as you can about something you knew of which once existed and now does not.
That is really, I guess my first thought goes to technology, and where that other things have become obsolete. Well, this is like actually fairly recent. It's pretty annoying, but I had to get rid of my printer because they stopped making drivers for that. It's an HP printer, and they stopped making drivers for it to connect to my computer. So I had to get a new printer. It's kind of like, you know, when iPhone updates and then the software, the operating system doesn't, you know, compute with the most recent or an older version of the iPhone. It felt like that, like they were doing it on purpose to make me, like, my printer, I really just use it to print out audition sides, like the lines, the scripts that I have to say. And I like having the physical copy. So that's literally all I was using it for. I wasn't doing anything spectacular with my printer. I just printing out black and white stuff. And so, yeah, I guess I don't really know how to describe a driver, but they are little tiny software zeros and ones that make it so that your computer can communicate with a printer or a scanner or like a fax machine. And that driver that was meant to communicate with my specific HP, it was a 5610. I remember because I've typed that in so many times trying to find a good driver. 5610 all-in-one printer, and it no longer exists for operating systems. I've got a Catalina. If any of you are trying to prove me wrong, I have Catalina, Mac OS Catalina version 10.15.7. And it was an all-purpose, all-in-one inkjet 5610.
Hell yeah. If anyone can problem solve that, it's definitely the 7 or 8 people that listen to this show.
It got to the point where I was like, I don't have anything else to Google. I have no more avenues to go down. So I guess I have to get a new printer. To be fair, I've had it probably 15 years, but it was fine. It was fine.
Is your new printer okay?
Yeah, a new printer's great. It's fine. It's also fine. But again, I'm just using it to print out literally black and white pages with like letters and numbers on them. It's so bizarre. It's all I need, you know? Ugh, so annoying.
Question 6 is, what do you suck at?
I suck at I'm athletic, so I'm good at physical things. But I am not good at sports specifically. So I suck at it. I really suck at sports. Anything that involves like stuff outside of your body, like a tennis racket or a ball. I feel like I can coordinate my body, but then you add this extra element into it, and it probably is super mental, and I could probably change it with energy and attention, but I don't have the patience for it, and I would rather suck at it, and so I do.
Hell yeah. I also suck at sports. It's because I'm dyspraxic and I don't care enough to learn the adaptive ways on how to fix it.
Oh, good. Yeah, exactly. It's like I think, you know, I've told you, superpower. You can totally become good at whatever the hell you want. I do not want to become good at sports.
I think the only sport that I could kick ass at and have kicked ass at is badminton.
Oh, okay. All right.
It lends itself well to my like lanky, weird hands. Yeah.
I feel like I could be good at basketball, which is actually because the ball is big, you know, and it involves running, which I'm good at running. I'm also good at running long distance. I'm good at sprinting. I'm good at like the high intensity kind of stuff, jumping and stuff like that. So I think I could be good at that. It combines a lot of skills that I think I have, being athletic. But I don't care to.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Question 7 is, what are you great at?
I am great at making words into fun.
Okay.
So that is like songwriting, and you know, just playing with words, scanning them correctly, giving words character and life, and making jokes. That includes making jokes. It includes writing adventures, obviously, writing scripts, writing in general, just updating people in my life. I can make that fun. Telling stories, all of that. Anything that involves turning words into fun, I'm good at. Really good at.
Fuck yeah. I love that answer. Yeah. Question 8 is, what fascinates you?
Anything to do with romance. It fascinates me. I want to hear about it all. I've had so much experience dating. I was a single person for 10 years, but that didn't mean I wasn't dating. And so I love hearing dating stories. I love giving advice on dating. I also think our social system is bonkers around dating. Like there's no, I think every single person on this planet is told very weird, toxic shit that is not true. And it makes people behave like absolute crazy people when in reality, like society's views on relationships are just wrong, and nothing, and like the real stuff doesn't get celebrated. It's like the fake stuff gets celebrated. Like weddings and marriages get really, really celebrated. They just do. They're immediately top of the line. Now you're at the pinnacle of what a relationship is. And that's wrong because half of them end in divorce, so they don't even work. And there are way more relationships that are way healthier than many marriages that have nothing to do with, like, these relationships have nothing to do with marriage, and they are extremely healthy. I sometimes think there are like really good healthy friendships, and sibling and family relationships that matter way more and should be celebrated way more, and given way more importance than a marriage. So anything that has to do with romance, obviously, I have, like, it runs the gamut. So whatever anyone wants to talk about, relationships in general, even with relationships with your own self, I love it. I eat it up.
Question 9 is, what piece of media should everyone consume?
Better Call Saul, the TV show, all of the seasons, especially season 1. It's on Netflix. It's so good. This show is for people. It's for everybody. It's not what you think, because it is an offshoot of a spinoff from Breaking Bad on the character Saul Goodman, but it's just not. It's not what I expected at all. It has nothing to do with Walter White, and nothing to do with. I don't want to say it has nothing to do with the drug cartel kind of thing, but it's more about clowning the clown of Saul Goodman. He is a bumbling buffoon clown, and you love, I don't want to say hate him, but you love to pity him, and you're rooting for him the whole time. It's so bizarre because you're rooting for him the whole time, and you also can't wait for him to fail one more time. Just, go for it and fail. Please go for it and fail again and again and again. And it's awesome. The characters are insane, and I will protect all of those characters with my life. And Mike, Erlentrout, the bald, guy, the cleanup guy, he's in it. Is it Erlentrout? Ermintrout. Anyway, he's in it and he's great. All the actors are superb. It is worth every single second you spend watching that show. I love it.
You should watch The Midnight Gospel. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
No, I've never even heard of that.
It's on Netflix. It's an animated series by Pendleton Ward, the guy who made Adventure Time.
Amazing.
And Duncan Trussell who makes it, like, Duncan Trussell runs a podcast where he's like interviewing people, and they like animated episodes of that, and it's like psychedelic and weird and fucking
cool.
Spiritual, and I've watched it 8 times all the way through since it came out last year.
Whoa.
So it is one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite show of all time, I think.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So I hope you like it. Let me know.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, you might absolutely hate it, but at least you tried it.
Yeah.
This question is my favorite question, and it has been in every episode since episode 1, which is, if you could name a hot sauce, what would you call it and why?
Hot sauce. Okay, I'll name it Peasant, because of strong bad Trogdor burninating the countryside, burninating all the peasants. And if you don't know that reference, I can't help you. But because of that's why. That's what came to mind. Is when I think of fire, all over the place, I think of Trogdor burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants.
Okay, I don't get the reference, but I'm gonna Google it when I listen back to this. Like, it's
you Google Homestar Runner. Homestar Runner was this flash animated. I'm 36 now, and so this was age. I mean, I don't know. It was when I was in college, so 20 or so 16 years ago. And it was this flash animated show, like 15-minute kind of cartoon that came out on the internet every Monday. And Strong Bad, it's it's just going to take way too long to explain. But Homestar, I was addicted to it. I logged in. I've seen every single episode, and one of the characters are like kind of skits, or it was kind of a variety show, kind of a just a. It's just trippy and awesome and hilarious, and it's all done with flash animation. And their character, they like Strong Bad drew a dragon, and he named him Trogdor, and he gave him one wing and one big muscly arm, and like a human mammalian kind of arm. And I just don't know what else to tell you. This was,
Question 11 is, what is your most prized physical possession?
I'm looking at it right now. I think it's my mom spent a year cross stitching me a scene, a little picture, a huge picture, a big old picture that is a wizard. It looks like summoning a dragon, and I think it's that. I just the amount of time that went into it. Um, and I also like wizards and dragons, and it's like, when your mom gives you stuff that she worked on for that long, and it couldn't be more you. It's like, oh, mom really gets me. It was a surprise, and it was great. I don't know. I think that's my most prized physical. I'm looking around trying to think.
That's a classic response to that question. What the fuck do I own? Like,
Yeah,
who?
what do I even own? Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I think I nailed it. I really do. I think I nailed it. Because I don't want to necessarily choose technology, because it's like I do enjoy my technology, but it's more about the stuff that my technology allows me to create and save than it is about the actual technology. So, um, and you said physical, and most of the stuff that my technology allows me to create and save is digital. So yeah, that the a little year-long project. My mom, 365 days of her slaving away to make that real. It's now on my wall in an intense frame with museum glass. Okay.
Question 12 is, what strange thing has informed your creative work?
Well, strange. So that's like already we're thinking of something outside the box. My creative work is also all over the place. I guess, okay, something that's coming to mind. I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm just gonna say Weird Al Yankovic, and it's not strange because he informs a lot of people's creative stuff, but he has weird in the name, so he counts as strange. So yeah, I think he's the whole reason I can kind of uh, point a lot of stuff back to him, why I'm creative at all. Definitely why I even started writing songs or thinking I could. What he's the definition of changing, making words into fun. Also, what a pleasant human, and not just pleasant, just like a perfect human, I guess is what I mean to say. So yes, I would say he has informed a shit ton of my creative work. He's also the reason why I had friends in elementary school. It's like the only reason. I was so nerdy and introverted and weird, and just like, oh, I like Weird Al. Everyone understood what that meant, so we had like a shared vocabulary of what that was. So yeah.
Did you ever have an epiphany? If so, what was it about?
I keep on having this epiphany, so it's good. I hired a life/career coach about a little over a year ago, and kind of spent a year working with her, and then moved on. I guess I mean, it's always through therapy or something like that, but I'll give you two. One is that no one's handing out grades anymore, which was a huge awakening for me. Like, oh my gosh, I've been going for an A plus because I've been trained to for, however, yeah, about 20 years of my life. And outside of school, there are no A pluses. So what are you doing? Like stop. And simultaneously, using that metaphor, uh, a B, a B minus, even a C is really good. Like it's enough. It's fine. It's good. So striving for an A+ is just a really good way to not finish something. And I'm constantly learning that. And the other thing is, it kind of in the same vein is like spinning, working to work is not going to help you. But when you're like, and I can feel a difference. Like when you're lit up and excited and like working towards something, and you in your head have drawn that line of like, if I do this, and again, energy and attention, like, and I do it enough times, and this one moment, these 15 minutes that I'm going to spend doing this is kind of, pointing to that thing that I'm going for, then that's when you can get excited, and or that's when I can get excited. And if you're excited and working excitedly, then it is true. But working to stay busy and productive, which is 100% weirdly what society values in a weird way, it's actually it's actually like standing totally still. It's doing nothing for you, and there's no bonus. Like it's really, you could either be taking a nap or working in this way, and exactly the same amount of like stuff would be getting done. You would be moving exactly 0% closer. Honestly, a nap is probably better, because I think sleep is like honoring your brain and saying, brain, you're important, so I'm going to sleep right now. So yeah, but working mindlessly and just to work without the lit up excitement is, yeah, that was an epiphany. It's like it's not helping, actually.
I completely 100% agree with you. Like, yeah, I had this weird thing where I came out of college, because I like graduated with like really good marks in college and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And then I realized that I'd been valuing so much of my education because I had something to prove in it, and now that it's not there anymore, I'm just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, what do I do now? So I had to set different. That's kind of where this show came from. Where I was like, I need to talk to people and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have to set. I now have to set creative goals instead of like having a goal given to me. Like now,
Yes.
someone else's. Before it was like, here's a standard someone else set. You just hit that and you're good. And now
Right.
it's like, what matters? Why do I do anything? I guess in my life, I want to like make something that makes people happy. I want
Mm-hmm.
to I want to make something that I can show to my parents that they'll be like proud of, because that's not something
Yes.
I've ever been able to do, which is weird. Even though like they've been proud of my work and everything, that I want to make a creative thing, because that's where
Yeah.
my heart
Yeah.
is. I want to call Matthew Mercer a wet blanket to his face, not because I dislike the guy, but because he called my friend Conan a wet blanket in person at his very first convention. That's
Oh.
those are like because it's really weird. I set a bunch of creative goals when I started the show, and then I fucking hit them within 10 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, what do I do now? Like Brennan Lee Mulligan, for example, who you know, he
Yes.
was my creative icon. I wanted to meet him so bad, and then I did in 5 episodes.
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
shit, what do I do now?
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, I totally resonate with that. I think it's absolutely rad. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
Question 14. What's just the best feeling?
Oh, I had it the other night. It's I was laying in bed and it came over me like a wave, and it was, I guess it was relief, but it also, there was more to it than that, because the like thought of just, it was this feeling, and it came from the thought that, oh my gosh, like I recognize myself in every single part of my life, like in physical presence, like this, just the stuff in my apartment. I recognize the choices that my boyfriend and I have made to get it there. I recognize having my boyfriend in my life. I recognize that being like an active choice of mine. The jobs, the time I'm spending, the people who are in my life, like every single one of them. It was just such a relief, because I had, that's been a bit of a journey for me. It's like you're saying, of accepting jobs and accepting the life that other people are saying hey, do this and I'll give you money. And you're like, well, yes, I'm going to do that because you're giving me money. So that makes a lot of sense, as opposed to going, well, is that really what I want to do? And is that really how I want to earn my money? But no, every single, I mean, yeah, the way, even down to the way I was earning money. This is like 2 days ago that I had this feeling. And it is the best because everything that's in your life, I think you have made decisions to get yourself there, and it's worth taking responsibility for it. So if you can look around and love everything that's in your life, including your money, including like including the weird stuff, um it's just an incredible feeling to recognize yourself in everything. uh is great.
Hell yeah. I've never had that feeling, but now I'm going to endeavor to. Question 15 is, do you say I love you too much or too little?
um I say it a lot, all the time, and I think it's still too little, man. It should be said even more, nonstop, baby.
Question 16 is, what is the most valuable thing you have ever learned?
I guess the best thing I've ever learned was the the power of gratitude for your mental, like, I think the power of gratitude extends past your mental state and all the way through actual physical, tangible stuff. So it's definitely energy and attention. So like if you were able to be grateful, then you're just going to experience that more often, kind of thing. And not only experience that more often, but given like really solid reasons to be grateful, as opposed to like, oh, okay, I'm grateful for coffee. Wow, I made myself a cup of coffee. Now I'm grateful. Um, and then you like get a job, and it's like you're honoring the coffee as equally as you would honor like a huge life change. It's crazy. It's a game changer for sure. um yeah, it's like practicing feeling really good, and then you're just given more and more opportunities to feel really good, I guess. So I don't know, I learned that it's hard and I don't do it all the time, but I learned that a while ago, and I think it's pretty fucking valuable, especially when, you know, as a creative person, you're just trying to be happy like so much of the time, and it's really hard to be happy all the time.
That's why I kind of gave up on the idea that like it's supposed to be happiness all the time. Because I had this guy say to me in college, it was like happiness and sadness are like peaks and waves. So like, do you want to be like
Yeah.
up and down, or do you want to just kind of be in a steady middle? Because a steady middle, you're not gonna, like, you can go up and then you'll come back down. But if
Yeah.
your goal is to be happy all the time, you'll when you go down, you'll hit sadness. Whereas if your
Yeah.
goal is to be content, you'll go up and then you'll come back down, or you'll go down, you'll
Mhm.
come back up. And so I've been trying to go for that middle contentment.
Yeah, just go for a C. Stop going for the A plus of this happiness thing. But yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's a lot more manageable. Um
Yeah, like being solidly content is I think a little bit more manageable for me anyway.
yes. Yes.
um, question 17 is, how do you feel about death?
How do I feel about it? I haven't really experienced anyone too close to me, so I guess I'm not looking forward to anyone in my life dying. But I'm also not trying to prepare for that because I know there's no way to do that. So I find it I find it uncomfortable, and I don't know how I feel about myself dying. I don't want to. I want to stay alive, and survive and thrive and be great. I really like living. I think it's quite an adventure. So I also want that for the people I love. So yeah, I don't enjoy it. I don't I'm not silly enough to know that it's going to evade me and the people I love, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I find it extremely uncomfortable, and yeah, speaking of sadness, yeah, just thinking about it makes me absolutely fucking sad.
What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you? I'm looking for like the correct wording that I want for this question. I have no fucking idea how to word that, which is like, I don't know, coincidence. I don't
A
fucking
coincidence? Okay, I've got one. This is so I was raised Catholic, and there was one, and I've said I've had three sisters, and we're all very similar ages, so we were all doing our after school activities, and there was one day we were at home, and it was mom and us four girls, and we all had somewhere to be, and she was kind of the wrangler, to drive us to all of these things, and she couldn't find her car keys, and we couldn't find them either, and we just scoured the house for a half hour, like 30 minutes of just looking everywhere. And then there is a patron saint of lost things, and his
Saint
name is
Anthony.
Saint Anthony.
We pray to him here too.
Okay, awesome. Yes. So I like knelt down, closed my eyes, and prayed to Saint Anthony, because the patron saints, it's like they're like crystals, kind of, if you're that kind of spiritual, where they're assigned something, and then you can take that however you want. So lost items equal lost souls, lost personalities, lost humans, like anything that's lost, expand the metaphor how you will. But yeah, I was like, well, I'm expanding, yeah, this to literal lost keys. And I opened my eyes, and they were sitting right in front of me on her dresser, which is where her keys belong. Like, that's literally the first place anyone would look for them. I knew I had looked for them right there, because that's where her keys go, is on her dresser, on that corner. And that's exactly where they were. And I know for a fact all five of us had looked there. And I couldn't believe it. So in my head, they just magically appeared. Who the fuck knows? But I do trust all of my sisters and my mom when they were like, I looked there. Of course I looked there. That's where they go. And then I don't know. I don't know. It was weird. You asked for weird.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of my financial situation. I am absolutely so proud of myself. I am so financially independent. I have retirement accounts that are blossoming every year. I did wind up hiring a financial coach a few years back, and I'm so happy I did. I just feel I'm proud. I guess it's like I'm really proud of my relationship with money, because as an artist, I know I'm of a rare breed that I can say I am. I have an amazing relationship with money. So and it wasn't through lack of trying. I just have a really good relationship with money, and I know that is difficult for some people. But when people talk about abundance, or they're trying to focus on, and it's mainly like abundance, like meditation on abundance, it's normally about money. And I always have to be like use the metaphor for other things, because I feel, yeah, I don't know, I may not always have that relationship with money, but I feel really good about it, and I would rather spend abundance on other things that could be abundant, that I have, less of a security and feeling around. So yeah.
What's the best thing that's happened to you this week?
This week, okay. I had a trusted source tell me they were not worried about about me and my career. They were like confident I would achieve the things I wanted to achieve. And I know that you're supposed to have that confidence within yourself, but God, when the external validation just shows up, and you're like, and I actually believe her, and like trust her, like I believe that she would be a person who would be like, actually, here are some steps you need to take, and whatever. Which there are always steps to take. I'm not saying I'm done improving or working. It's just to hear that someone is confident in my potential. It really was the best. I wish it didn't mean as much as it did, but it does mean as much as it did, and I'm really happy about it. So
like being creative fundamentally, I mean, I know we're supposed to act as if like we're dead or whatever, but like, because
Yes, I have all of the faith in myself that I need. Thank you. And yeah, there's just no currency like external validation.
like I'm reading this book at the minute. I don't know if you've read that.
Oh no, I haven't.
Still Like an Artist, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's just about being more creative and things like that. And one of the tips is like, don't do anything, like don't rely on other people's praise. And I was reading that and I was like, if someone tells me that my show is good, that's setting me up for a week. I don't give a fuck,
Yes, 100% agree. It's like, I will take it, I will eat it up. Oh, feels so good.
How do you deal with uncertainty?
How do I deal with it? Not well. That's definitely something that I'm working towards. I guess I used to think I had to basically worship uncertainty because it's the only constant, and that's not that's never gonna fucking happen. I couldn't get there, so I'm okay. I guess it's fine. It's usually fine because I know that I've chosen a life where there is a bunch of uncertainty, um, as an artist, but also we're humans, and life is uncertain. But I guess where I put my faith is in energy and attention. Not to harp on that enough, but I really trust in that, and I trust in the scale very slightly tipping until an avalanche happens, and I'm here for as long as it takes. So I guess I deal with uncertainty by tricking myself into thinking that energy and attention will provide certainty. So yeah.
If you were on a starship, what position would you hold?
I I think I would I think people would elect me as the captain, and I would not want that. So I would say that's great. I'm down to be a vice captain, number 2. I'd be second in command. XO. Right? XO. What is that?
Executive officer.
Executive officer. Executive officer. So I would take myself out of the running for captain, and I would be an amazing XO, and I'd be okay with that. That's what I would want.
If you could give just one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say snooze your emails. Use snooze on your emails. Use it. Gmail gives you an opportunity to, when an email comes in, you can choose to deliver it at another time, and I do it constantly because I use my inbox has a really, it can easily freak me out and stress me out and give me anxiety about stuff I have to do. And a lot of times I don't have a response yet. I don't know, because I'm very much a hell yes, hell no kind of person. But sometimes, the gray area of, I don't know how I'm going to respond to this. It just happens too often. And I need time. And it sitting in my inbox stresses me out. But if I can like legitimately say, this actually doesn't need to be responded to right now, move it to tomorrow morning, move it to Friday afternoon. I move a lot of things to Friday afternoon. And snooze your emails, and also schedule send. So these are for assignments. Or creative deadlines, and sometimes you finish early, but here's what happens when you finish early and send it in early. The person who receives it automatically thinks, why'd you send it in early? You could have spent it was a day early. You could have spent this last day making it even better, and now I'm getting kind of trash because you didn't spend this extra day making it better, even though it's not going to get any better than this, like especially not in a day. So, and also like I have other things to do, and getting this off my plate feels good. So that's the kind of moment where you schedule send. You're done, you feel good about it, but the deadline is in a day or 2 days or next week, and you schedule it for whenever the deadline actually is. That's my advice. Schedule send and snooze your emails.
Hey folks, it's Tess from the Curiosity Project. So, I have some news, some really cool, good news. I, a very long time ago, started a Patreon for a project that isn't this one. It was a project about mapping the history of cities, which never went anywhere because of my master's. I kind of focused on doing studies, and I didn't know when I could fit that in. But I set it up anyway. And so when the Curiosity Project came around, I just kind of slapped a couple of labels on it. Went, oh yeah, this is that. And I never advertised it or talked about it, aside from when it was like, oh yeah, it exists. And now I have 3 patrons, which is so insane to me. To everyone who listens to this show, know that you never have to do anything but enjoy this show. I'm always incredibly grateful, and in a sec I'll be reading out the names of the people who have given me money on Patreon. But I spent a very long time as a consumer of media, feeling like some creators put pressure on people to listen or pay for their media. Know that everything I do will always be free. But I'm going to thank these 3 people dearly and sincerely for giving me money for my fucking art show. What the hell? That's insane. It just blows my mind that people want to support me like this. Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, so the 3 people that have decided to support me on Patreon are Book Sherpa, Brianna Jones, and Samantha M. Murray. To the 3 of you, I say a sincere and dear thank you. I don't know what to say other than that. I'm real bad at Patreon because I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'll come up with something to reward you for your kindness. Yeah, I'm also going to use this time at the end of episodes, maybe in future, aside from reading out the people who support me on Patreon, to make announcements and stuff. This is actually the last episode of season 3 of the Curiosity Project. So if you haven't been following for too long, the way the Curiosity Project is released is that it is released in 10 or 11 episode blocks, and then I take a little break I say break, I'm still working on the show. It's just more finding guests and editing episodes and stuff, which usually takes about 2 or 3 weeks, and then we start season 4. And as always, if you have any ideas for who you want on the Curiosity Project, just send them to me. I have my DMs open on Twitter and on Instagram. You can also send me an email. Yeah. So that's it. I'm sorry if this is awkward. I don't really know what to say or do in these things. But yeah, to the patrons, thank you again. I really, really, really appreciate it. It actually blows my mind. And to everyone who listens to the Curiosity Project, thank you for your kind words, your sincere support, and thank you for enjoying something that brings me great joy to make. Yeah. Bye.